listening to Vampire's Vow by Celeste King.
Part of the romantasy TV collection within the Worlds of Protheka. Similarly to the first book, this story also takes place on Veloris, where the Rakan are many but live in the shadows.
Ruled by a corrupt elven council, humans are nothing more than rats who scurry across the floor.
Unless they catch the eye of someone powerful.
A monster.
A madman.
Beast with a thawing heart.
But how can you tell which is which?
Romantasy TV aims to bring you bite-sized, full romance stories that you can enjoy in one sitting.
To get the full and unabridged book and listen ad-free with all the steamy scenes intact, go to worldsofprotheka.com. Use promo code YouTube30 to take 30% off this audiobook and all other audiobooks, bundles and ebooks.
You're listening to Vampire's Vow by Celeste King.
Chapter 1. Amara. Hey, that's mine. Give it back. Let go, you filthy rat. But I saw it first. And yet it's in my hands. The familiar sounds of the slums of Veloris follow me as I make my way toward the fresh pile of trash that had been dumped here by the dark elves. The two men, human like me, are too busy fighting over some type of clothing to notice my skittish approach. Whatever it is must be out of style for those greedy elves to have thrown it away. All we get are their leftovers, what they have labelled garbage, just as they have labelled us. Get off! My eyes snap over to the two men, now engaged in a pathetic excuse of a brawl, and I take that as my chance to find anything valuable. I rummage through the pile of discarded items, my fingers brushing against a cold, metallic surface. I pull out a ring, its silver band adorned with intricate designs, and a large, oval-shaped gemstone that seems to glow with an inner light. I'm entranced by its beauty, wondering how anyone could throw such a treasure away. Curiosity getting the better of me, I slip the ring onto my finger. A sudden surge of power courses through my body, and I stumble back, my heart pounding in my chest. The two men fighting nearby stop and turn to look at me, their expressions filled with concern. Hey, are you okay? One of them asks, approaching me cautiously. I brace myself for the usual insults and harassment, but instead they help me up, their hands gentle on my arms. No one is kind in the slums of Veloris, especially not to me. But these men are treating me like I'm valuable. What's a pretty thing like you doing down here? Are you lost? The other wonders with what sounds like genuine concern. As I regain my footing, I catch a glimpse of my reflection in a pile of shattered glass. My eyes widen in disbelief as I see a beautiful woman staring back at me. The ring has transformed me into a more alluring and desirable version of myself, with radiant skin, flowing hair, and mesmerizing eyes. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Is this really me? I touch my face, feeling the softness of my skin, and the reality of my new appearance begins to sink in. I'm not the same plain, average-looking girl I was just moments ago. Instead of the dull brown shade of my hair, it looks long and luscious, like life has been breathed back into it. When it catches the sun rays, it nearly looks golden in the halo of light that surrounds me. My brown eyes are bright, captivating, looking like pools of honey that any woman would kill to have. The two men are still watching me, their expressions a mix of awe and confusion. I can't help but feel a sense of power and confidence surging through me, a feeling I've never experienced before. I smile at them, and they smile back, their eyes filled with admiration. For the first time in my life, I feel like I have a chance to make something of myself in this dark and dangerous city, and I'm not going to let it slip through my fingers. Sorry, I say, shocked once more at the sound of my seductive tone. I lost my footing. Please don't let me stop you from, well, whatever you call that. I can't help but feel a rush of excitement as I make my way to the market, my newfound beauty drawing the eyes of everyone I pass. The rags I wear suddenly seem chic, clinging to my body in a way that makes me feel powerful and desirable. As I approach the first merchant stall, the vendor's eyes widen in awe. "Good morning," I approach. "I'm just browsing. I don't have the coin for anything so finely made." I bat my eyelashes and give him my best attempt at doe eyes. Please, miss, take whatever you like," he stutters, gesturing to his wares. "No charge." I can't believe my luck. I select a few items, feeling a thrill of satisfaction as I tuck them into my bag. As I continue through the market, I receive more and more offers of free food and supplies. It's as if my beauty has cast a spell over everyone I encounter. But there's one person I'm more interested in enchanting. My ex-boyfriend, Noah, who dumped me for another woman. Just like the elves, he threw me away like trash. Told me he dated me only out of pity. As I approach his father's merchant stall, my heart races with anticipation. I can feel the weight of the silver ring on my finger, its power coursing through me. I keep my gaze forward, pretending not to notice him, but out of the corner of my eye, I see him frozen in place, his mouth agape. "Amara," he calls out, his voice filled with disbelief. He must be stunned by my transformation, the plain girl he once knew now replaced by a radiant beauty. I continue walking, feigning indifference, but I can feel his eyes following me. Suddenly I hear footsteps behind me, and he's there, his hand reaching out to grab my arm. "Amara, wait!" he says, his voice desperate. I stop and turn to face him, feigning surprise. "Oh, it's you," I say, my voice dripping with innocence. "I didn't notice you." He looks taken aback but quickly recovers, his eyes roaming over my body. "You look amazing," he says, his voice barely above a whisper. "I mean, really, you're stunning." I can see the desire in his eyes, the longing for what he once had and so carelessly threw away. But I won't let him have me so easily. Not now, not ever. Instead, I smile sweetly, my eyes filled with a cold, hard glint. "Thank you, Noah," I say, my voice soft and seductive. "How is Farah?" Who?" I laugh gently, and his eyes drop to my lips. "You know, the second-rate girl that you left me for." He grimaces, glancing around. Well, she was a mistake, you know. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't love her or anything, and we aren't serious. I've been thinking, do you want to get back together, maybe?" His rambling is both amusing and infuriating. He thinks he can just pretend nothing happened because I've changed. "Oh, Noah, how cute. But I think I'll pass on your offer. After all, I would be dating you out of pity." And with that, I turn and walk away, leaving him standing there, his jaw slack with shock. As I continue through the market, I feel a thrill of power coursing through me, and I know that I'm never going to give it up.
Chapter 2. Lucien. "Please, deceiver," I whisper to myself. "Let this be the day that the sun burns me to a crisp." Taking a deep breath, I step out from under the awning of my stately townhome dwelling in the center of Veloris and into the sun. Many Vrakin who do not dwell on Rach can withstand the sun. But many of the vampiric beings who came through from all corners of Protheka to Rach were younglings when they arrived. They weren't as experienced in shielding themselves from sunlight, and so we never learned. Except for me. Only it wasn't that I was strong enough to withstand the sunlight. I was cursed to. "Damn Perna," I mutter to myself as I look at my skin. My ill-fated battle with the Perna led to a curse. Live in the sunlight and die if exposed to the moonlight. I sigh. Each day I pray that I will die, and each day I am doomed to continue this curse. I feel like turning around and going inside when my skin prickles. The prickling sensation intensifies, drawing my attention away from my self-pity. Something's off. A magical aura pulses through the air, teasing my senses. Intrigued, I step further into the bustling streets of Veloris. The energy ebbs and flows as I move, guiding me like a beacon. When I veer off course, it fades. But as I close in, my entire body hums with an electric charge. I weave through the crowded marketplace, dodging merchants hawking their wares and pickpockets eyeing easy marks. The magical signature grows stronger, pulling me forward. Then I see her. Long, flowing hair cascades down her back, swaying with each step. My gaze travels lower, drawn to the mesmerizing sway of her hips. Sweet deceiver, that ass! I've bedded countless women over the centuries, but none have sparked such instant primal desire. My fangs ache, longing to sink into her flesh. Blood rushes through my veins, awakening parts of me I thought long dead. The magic emanating from her pulses through me, igniting a spark of hope I haven't felt in centuries. This power, raw and intoxicating, could be the key to breaking my curse. I have to get closer. I push through the crowd, my eyes locked on her retreating form. The closer I get, the stronger the sensation becomes. It's like a siren's call, drawing me in with promises of salvation. "Hey, watch it!" a merchant yells as I bump his cart. I ignore him, focused solely on my target. She turns a corner, and for a heart-stopping moment, I think I've lost her. But then I catch a glimpse of her hair whipping around the next bend. The magic grows more potent with each step. It thrums through my body, making my skin tingle and my blood sing. This is it. This has to be the cure I've been searching for all these years. I round the corner and find myself in a less crowded alley. She's there, examining something in her hand. A ring? The source of the magic? I approach slowly, not wanting to startle her. "Excuse me," I call out, my voice rougher than intended. She whirls around, eyes wide with surprise and a hint of fear. Up close, her beauty is even more breathtaking. But it's the power radiating from her that truly captivates me. "That ring," I say, gesturing to her hand. "Where did you get it?" She clutches it tighter, taking a step back. "What's it to you?" I hold up my hands, trying to appear non-threatening. "I mean you no harm. It's just... I can feel its power, and I think it might be able to help me." Her eyes narrow, suspicion clear on her face. "Help you how?" I take a deep breath. How do I explain centuries of torment to a stranger? "I'm cursed," I say simply, "and that ring, I believe it might be my salvation." She turns slightly, giving me a glimpse of her profile. Flawless skin, full lips, eyes that seem to glow with an inner light. And there, on her finger, a ring pulsing with magical energy. My breath catches. I must have her. This woman, this ring, they're mine.
Chapter 3. Amara. "Right this way, miss," the female dark elf says, gesturing for me to follow her deeper into the restaurant. I smile smugly, lifting the hem of the beautiful dress that had been gifted to me on a whim by a man who had intended it for his wife. Heads turn as the hostess escorts me to the private table I had asked for and eagerly asks what I would like to drink. Even women look at me like they want to bed me. I savour the taste of the rich, velvety wine as it slides down my throat. The dark elven man who approaches my table doesn't go unnoticed, his eyes lingering on me with a predatory gaze. He sits down beside me, uninvited. "Why is a pretty girl like you buying her own dinner?" he wonders. "Well," I pout, "what's a girl to do?" The elven man places a hand over mine. "Allow me to buy her dinner, of course." I grin, having gotten exactly what I wanted. "Well, aren't you a gentleman?" I reply, batting my eyelashes at him. He offers to buy me dinner, and I accept, enjoying the meal as he boasts on and on about his wealth and status. But when he walks me outside, his friendly demeanour changes. He grabs me forcefully, pulling me towards a dark alley. "Why don't we go somewhere a little more private? I have some friends who would love to meet you. I struggle against his iron grip, but it's no use. He drags me down the damp alleyway, my heels scraping against the cobblestones. The shadows come alive, revealing a group of dark elves who emerge from the gloom. They seize my arms, pulling me into the bowels of a nearby building. The stench of mould and decay fills my nostrils as they force me into a dimly lit basement. "Release me!" I cry out, trying to put on a brave face. "I demand you let me go." One of them, a towering figure with piercing red eyes, backhands me across the face. The coppery tang of blood fills my mouth as my eyes brim with tears. "You dare to command us, human filth?" he snarls, his lips curling into a sneer. Rage surges through me, replacing my fear. I glare back at him, my breaths coming in short, sharp gasps. What happened to his eagerness to wine and dine me? Has the ring's power waned? The dark elf's grip tightens around my arm, his nails digging into my skin as he shoves me towards another figure. The room is dimly lit, but I can make out the leering grins on their faces as they circle around me like predators. "She even smells delicious," one of them says, his voice low and hungry. He leans in close, inhaling deeply before licking up my cheek. "She tastes good too." I recoil at the touch of his tongue, my heart pounding in my chest. I try to pull away, but there's nowhere to go. They're all around me, closing in. With a sudden jerk, my dress is torn from my body, leaving me exposed and vulnerable. I try to cover myself, but rough hands grab at me, pulling me towards a makeshift washing station. "Wash her up," one of them barks, his voice cold and commanding. "We'll fetch a pretty price for this one, won't we?" I'm forced to wash myself, the cold water stinging my skin as I scrub away the dirt and grime of the streets. When I'm finished, they dress me in scantily clad finery, the fabric barely covering my body. "That's only if I don't decide to buy her up myself," another voice says, his eyes raking over me with a predatory gaze. I realise with a sickening feeling that my admiration has also come with danger. These men see me as nothing more than a commodity, a prize to be won and sold to the highest bidder. Tears roll down my cheeks silently. I'm trapped, and I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. One of the men demands that I be put in a cage. I'm dragged towards a small, rusted enclosure, my heart pounding in my chest. The metal bars dig into my skin as they force me inside, the sound of the lock clicking into place echoing in my ears. I'm trapped. The dark elves continue to discuss my fate, their voices cold and calculating. I'm forced to listen to the horrible things they say will happen to me. I've always known that being human has put me at an automatic disadvantage, but living in the slums has kept me safe from the dark elves' exploitation. Or so I thought. Tears stream down my face as I huddle in the corner of the cage, my body trembling with fear. The elf from the restaurant approaches, his eyes filled with a mixture of lust and greed. "Oh, don't cry, pretty thing," he says, his voice mocking. "With a beauty like yours, you'll be treated better than the rest." Those words only make me cry more. My eyes drop to the ring, still positioned snugly on my finger. Somehow, by some grace of the gods, they didn't rip it from my body. But the beauty this ring has graced me with can't save me now. It's the reason I'm here at all. I'm not sure how much time passes before I hear the sound of footsteps approaching. My heart leaps into my throat as I see a hooded figure burst into the dungeon. The dark elves scatter, their eyes wide with fear. The figure turns towards them, his voice low and dangerous. "Be still, elf scum, and your death will be quick."
Chapter 4. Lucien. "Please, show mercy." The dark elf's pathetic plea for mercy grates on my ears. I bare my fangs, relishing the fear in his violet eyes. "Mercy? Like the mercy you showed this human?" I gestured to Amara, her delicate form crumpled in the corner of the gilded cage. The scent of her blood, mingled with terror and that intoxicating magic, makes my head spin. "We didn't know she was claimed," another elf stammers, hands raised in supplication. "Claimed?" I snarl. "She's not property, you arrogant prick." Magic crackles in the air as the first elf hurls a spell. It dissipates harmlessly against my skin. I laugh, low and menacing. "That tickles." "What are you?" the second elf whispers, backing away. I don't bother answering. In a blur of motion, I'm on him. My fangs sink into his throat, tearing through flesh and arteries. His blood floods my mouth, hot and metallic. I drain him dry in seconds. "By the 13, the first elf gasps. "Vraken!" "Impossible," a third chimes in. "They're extinct." I drop the desiccated corpse in turn, licking blood from my lips. Rumors of our demise have been greatly exaggerated. The remaining elves exchange glances, then attack as one. Spells fly, but I dance through them effortlessly. Centuries of battle have honed my reflexes to a razor's edge. I grab the nearest elf by the throat, lifting him off his feet. "Your magic is nothing to me." His eyes bulge as I squeeze. Bones crunch beneath my fingers. "Please," he chokes out. I tilt my head, considering. "Since you asked so nicely." In one swift motion, I snap his neck. The last elf scrambles backward, tripping over his fallen comrades. "Stay back. I'll give you anything." I advance slowly, savoring his terror. "There's only one thing I want from you." "Name it. Gold? Power? Women?" I crouch beside him, grinning. "Your blood." His scream is cut short as I tear into his throat. I drink deeply, feeling strength surge through my limbs. When I'm finished, I stand, surveying the carnage. Amara stares at me, wide-eyed. I approach her cage, wiping blood from my chin. "Are you hurt?" She shakes her head mutely. I rip the door off its hinges. "Come. We need to leave before more arrive." I reach for Amara's hand, but a sudden commotion at the entrance freezes me in place. Damn. More dark elves. "Well, well, what have we here?" A tall elf steps forward, silver-tipped crossbow aimed at my chest. I push Amara behind me. "Run!" "Not so fast, Vraken scum." Another elf appears, blocking our escape. I bare my fangs. Seems my reputation precedes me. The leader smirks. "Did you think we'd be unprepared?" A volley of arrows whistles through the air. I dodge, but one grazes my arm. Pain sears through me, the silver burning like acid. "Damn it!" I hiss. Amara's eyes widen. "You're hurt!" "I'm fine." I grit my teeth, summoning my magic. "Stay close." The elves advance, weapons trained on us. I raise my hands, dark energy crackling between my fingers. "Last chance to walk away," I warn. The leader laughs. "And miss the glory of slaying a Vraken? I think not." Another barrage of arrows. I throw up a shield, deflecting most, but one finds its mark in my thigh. I stumble, the wood splintering as it embeds itself in my flesh. "Ah!" The pain is excruciating. Amara gasps. "What can I do?" "Just stay back." I channel my rage into power, hurling bolts of darkness at our attackers. 2 elves fall, screaming as the magic consumes them. "Kill it!" the leader shouts. More arrows fly. I manage to evade most, but my movements are slowing. Blood seeps from my wounds, weakening me with each passing second. An elf gets too close. I lash out, tearing his throat open with my claws. His blood splatters across my face, momentarily sating my growing hunger. "You'll pay for that, monster," another elf snarls. I laugh, the sound harsh and bitter. "I've been paying for centuries, you sanctimonious prick." I gather the last of my strength, unleashing a wave of dark energy that sends the remaining elves flying. Bodies slam against walls, bones cracking on impact. Silence falls. I sway on my feet, vision blurring. Are they dead?" Amara whispers. I nod, unable to form words. The room spins. My knees buckle and I collapse. Lucien! Amara's voice sounds far away. I open my eyes to find Amara's face hovering above me, her brow furrowed with concern. Lucien, are you okay? Pain lances through my body. The silver burns, weakening me with each passing moment. I manage a weak smile. Not exactly, I'm dying, Amara. Her eyes widen. No. There has to be something we can do. I struggle to focus, my mind racing. The ring. Its magic pulses through her veins, calling to me. There might be a way, I rasp. Your blood. The ring's magic. It could heal me. Amara hesitates, fear flickering across her face. You mean you need to drink my blood? I nod, hating myself for asking. I won't force you, but it's the only chance I have. She bites her lip, conflict clear in her eyes. Then determination settles over her features. Do it, she says, tilting her head to expose her neck. I stare at the smooth curve of her throat, hunger warring with guilt. Amara, are you sure? You saved my life, she whispers. Let me save yours. My fangs ache with need, but I force myself to pause. It will hurt. I'm sorry. Amara takes a deep breath. I trust you. Those 3 words undo me. With a groan, I pull her close and sink my fangs into her flesh. Her blood floods my mouth, sweet and intoxicating. The ring's magic crackles through me, igniting every nerve ending. Amara gasps, her fingers digging into my shoulders. I drink deeply, feeling strength return to my limbs. The silver's burn fades, wounds knitting closed. And then, something shifts. I pull away, panting. Amara slumps against me, dazed but alive. Lucien, she murmurs. Did it work? I stare at my hands in wonder. The constant ache of sunlight is gone. And in its place, the curse, I breathe. It's broken. Amara's eyes widen. Really? How can you tell? I laugh, the sound full of disbelief and joy. I can feel the moonlight calling to me. For the first time in centuries, I'm whole again. She smiles, reaching up to touch my face. I'm glad. I was so worried about you. The tenderness in her gaze takes my breath away. I cover her hand with mine, marveling at the warmth of her skin. Thank you, Amara, for trusting me, for saving me. She blushes, ducking her head. Well, I couldn't let you die. I care about you, Lucien.
Chapter 5. Amara. This way, Lucien says as he leads me further into the darkness that clings to every tree we pass. I try my best to keep up, but the last 2 hours have sent me through a whirlwind of emotions, the most recent being the dizzying effect of being fed on by a vampire. I stumble over a twisted branch and latch onto Lucien, who simply shrugs me off. It's just through this clearing. We'll be safe there. And that's when we break through the trees. My eyes are met with the impossible sight of a house carved out of the side of the mountain, overlooking all of Veloris. It looks hundreds of years old, and yet stronger than anything I've ever set foot in. Lucien leads me into the house, and I can't help but gawk at the sheer number of artifacts and treasures that fill the space. It's like stepping into a museum, but one that's been curated by a collector with an eccentric taste. Are these heirlooms? I ask, running my fingers over the edge of a dusty tome. Lucien scoffs, and I can feel his eyes on me as I continue to explore. No, I've collected all of these throughout my existence. I turn to face him, my eyebrows raised in surprise. You don't look older than 30. He laughs, a deep, rich sound that echoes through the room. Vampires are immortal, Amara. I frown, trying to wrap my head around the concept. Yeah, but everything dies eventually. He smirks at me, his eyes glinting in the dim light. Not everything, sweetheart. I shiver at the way he says the word, like it's a promise or a threat. I'm not sure which. Lucien moves closer to me, his movements graceful and predatory. You have no idea what you've gotten yourself into, do you? I take a step back, my heart pounding in my chest. I think I have a pretty good idea. He shakes his head, a small smile playing at the corners of his mouth. No, you don't. But you will. I swallow hard, trying to keep my fear at bay. Lucien may be a vampire, but he saved me from the dark elves. He's not going to hurt me. At least that's what I tell myself as he continues to advance on me, his eyes never leaving mine. I can't help but stare at Lucien, fascinated by his curse and the way the moonlight seems to dance across his skin now that he can walk in it. It's like he's been given a new lease on life, and I can't help but feel a little envious. You should hand it over to someone better suited to its power. Me. I recoil at his words, my heart racing in my chest. What are you talking about? I'm perfectly suited to its power. Lucien scoffs, his eyes narrowing. You were about to be sold off like a whore when I found you. Do you really think you're capable of handling something like this? I feel a surge of anger rise up within me, and I ball my hands into fists at my sides. How dare you? You have no idea what I'm capable of. Lucien smirks, his eyes glinting in the dim light. Oh, I think I have a pretty good idea. You're just a human, Amara. I take a step forward, my eyes blazing with fury. And what makes you think you're any better than me? You were cursed, remember? His expression darkens and he demands, Take it back and I might forgive your ignorance. Screw you, I say, getting in his face. I didn't ask for your help, Lucien. His hand flies up, clamping around my throat. But instead of strangling me, he yanks me forward to close the distance between our lips and kisses me forcefully. The heat of our argument fuels the fire that now blazes between us. His kiss is a battle, a clash of wills, and I meet his force with my own, biting his lip hard enough to draw blood. You think you can just take what you want? I hiss, my hands balling into fists against his chest. I know I can, he growls, his free hand tangling in my hair, pulling just hard enough to make me gasp. I struggle against him, not to escape, but because the struggle itself is a part of this twisted dance we're locked in. Our bodies move in a rhythm as old as time, each of us trying to dominate the other, to prove some point that's been lost in the heat of the moment. He lifts me effortlessly, my legs wrapping around his waist as he pushes me against the wall of his hideaway. The cold stone at my back is a stark contrast to my blazing skin. I can feel him, hard and insistent, pressing against me, and I can't help but rock my hips against him, seeking the friction we both crave. You're a monster, I moan, as he trails hot, open-mouthed kisses down my neck. And you're an ignorant brat, he replies, his hands tearing at my clothes, the fabric giving way with a satisfying rip. A brat who's about to be put in her place. YouTube can't handle the heat, but if you think you can, get the rest of this spicy scene at worldsofprotheka.com when you listen to the unabridged, uncut version of Vampire's Vow. As a perk for being a part of our YouTube audience, you can use code YouTube30 for a 30% discount on all digital products to dive into a story interruption and even ad-free. If someone had told me a month ago that I would be running for my life instead of sitting in the stuffy classroom of the bordello, preparing to be sold off to indoor, I would have laughed.
Forest is not your safe space, little one.
But there's no avoiding my fate.
It's you. You're the one.
I've spent my entire life training to be the perfect bride for the top-bidding dark elf. So much can change in so little time.
You understand why you're being punished, right, child?
Your blood, it sings to me.
Please, let me out of here.
You need to learn your place.
But what are you? Where are you taking me?
Run!
I'm a bringer of death.
No, you're not dying. I won't let you.
You won't be able to get out.
Let me go, please.
Sadie, I will make you mine. Chapter 6. Lucien. A chill runs down my spine as wisps of shadow coalesce in the corner of my hideaway. The formless mass swirls and writhes, taking shape into a vaguely humanoid figure. My elemental servant, a demon I'd bound from the depths of Arasak. "Master!" it hisses, voice like gravel scraping against glass. "Dark elves approach." "What?" I snap, bolting upright. "How is that possible?" Amara's eyes widen, her hand instinctively reaching for mine. "Dark elves? Here?" The demon's form ripples as if shrugging. They track the ring's power. It calls to them like a beacon. "Damn," I mutter, running a hand through my hair. "I thought we'd covered our tracks." "We did," Amara says, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. "You made sure of it." I pace the room, mind racing. "How many?" "A hunting party," the demon replies. 6, perhaps 7. "Damn it," I spit. "We need to move. Now." Amara stands, her chin lifted defiantly. "We can take them, can't we? You're stronger now and I have the ring." I shake my head. It's not that simple. Dark elves are crafty bastards. We can't underestimate them. "But we can't just run," she argues. "They'll keep coming." The demon's form flickers, its voice urgent. "They draw near, Master. Time grows short." I lock eyes with Amara, seeing the determination beneath her fear. "You trust me?" She nods without hesitation. "With my life." "Then we must flee," I say. "We cannot fight here." I grab Amara's hand and pull her towards the hidden portal in my laboratory. The swirling vortex of magic engulfs us, and in an instant, we're spat out onto the grimy outskirts of the dark market on Raich. "Where are we?" Amara asks, disoriented. "The dark market. We'll be safe here for now." I lead her through winding alleys, past shady vendors and shadier customers. The air reeks of desperation and dark magic. We reach a rundown inn, its sign creaking in the breeze. "Wait here," I tell her, ducking inside to secure a room. Moments later, we're in a dingy chamber. Amara paces nervously. "So, what's the plan now?" she asks. I eye the ring on her finger. "We need to figure out how to harness that power properly." Her eyes narrow. "What do you mean? We?" "That ring is dangerous in untrained hands. Maybe it's best if I—" "If you what?" she snaps. "Take it for yourself?" "Amara, I didn't mean—" "Save it!" She backs away, her eyes flashing with anger and betrayal. "This was your plan all along, wasn't it? Use me to get the ring?" Her voice rises, sharp with accusation. I can see the hurt in her eyes, the way her body tenses as if ready to bolt. But the deceiver, this is not how I wanted this to go. I raise my hands, palms out, trying to look as non-threatening as possible. She bolts for the door. I grab her arm, spinning her to face me. "Let go of me," she snarls. "Amara, listen. Yes, at first I wanted the ring, but now—" I cup her face. "Now I want you." Her eyes search mine. "Prove it." I crush my lips to hers, pouring centuries of longing into the kiss. She responds with equal fervor, her nails raking down my back. I growl, low and primal, as I pin Amara against the wall. Her pulse races beneath my lips as I trail kisses down her neck. The scent of her desire floods my senses, driving me wild with need. "Screw the ring," I rasp. "I want you. Only you." Amara's fingers tangle in my hair, yanking my head back. Her eyes blaze with a mix of lust and challenge. "Show me," she demands. To listen to the dirty details that YouTube puts a stop to, find Vampire's Vow on worldsofprotheka.com and listen to the uncut audiobook at a 30% discount with promo code YouTube30. It's a deal that you don't want to miss, and a scene that you'll never forget. But let's get back to the story. I wake before Amara, the early morning light filtering through the grimy window. She's still curled against me, her warmth a reminder of last night's passion. Carefully, I extricate myself from her embrace and dress quietly. The kitchen is a sorry sight, but I manage to cobble together a passable breakfast. I return to our room with a tray of steaming porridge, some dried fruit, and 2 mugs of a bitter herbal tea. Amara stirs as I enter, her eyes blinking open. A soft smile spreads across her face when she sees me. "Morning," she murmurs, sitting up and pulling the threadbare blanket around her. "Breakfast," I announce, setting the tray on the rickety table. "It's not much, but it's hot." She reaches for a mug, inhaling the steam. "It's perfect. Thank you." We eat in comfortable silence for a few moments. I can't help but watch her, marveling at how quickly she's become essential to me. "You know," Amara says suddenly, stirring her porridge, "I always dreamed of a better life. Growing up in the slums, it seemed impossible. But finding this ring..." She twists it on her finger. It's like everything's finally going my way. I nod, encouraging her to continue. "For the first time, I feel like I have a real chance," she says, her eyes shining. "And it's not just the ring. It's you, Lucien." She reaches across the table, taking my hand. "I'm grateful for you, for everything you've done for me." Her words warm me more than any sunrise ever could. I squeeze her hand gently, marveling at how this human woman has managed to awaken feelings I thought long dead. "We're in this together now," I tell her. "Whatever comes next, we'll face it together." Amara's smile is radiant, and I find myself hoping I can keep that light in her eyes, no matter what dangers we might face. Orcs, gargoyles, vampires, ice monsters, demons of the dark. These beasts seek war, destruction, and power, and there's only one thing that can tame them.
Love.
This is your chance to get the uncut and unabridged audiobook bundle.
No detail is spared.
Use discount code YouTube30 for an additional 30% off of the already discounted price.
Go to worldsofprotheka.com.
Get access to countless audiobooks and discounted bundles where I talk you through every last scene.
Protheka's magic is eternal. Audio bundles will make it immersive. Chapter 7. Amara. Lucien's words send a thrill through every inch of my body. Together, I open my mouth to say something, anything that could express the depth of my feelings, when the sound of splintering wood breaks the silence instead. "Get up!" Lucien roars, sending the dishes flying to the floor. My heart pounds in my chest as I frantically search for my clothes, the remnants of our romantic breakfast scattered across the floor. Lucien's dagger glints in the dim light, a stark reminder of the danger that's found us. "What's going on?" I ask him, my voice barely above a whisper as I pull my tunic over my head. "They've found us," he growls, his eyes locked on the door. He doesn't need to say anything more. A cold shiver runs down my spine as I remember the dark elves, their twisted smiles, and the way they looked at me like I was nothing more than a plaything. I can't let them take me again. The door crashes open, and Lucien leaps into action, his movements a blur as he fights off the intruders. I watch in awe as he dispatches them with ease, his dagger slicing through the air with deadly precision. The dark elves' twisted smiles and cruel eyes are replaced by looks of shock and terror. But their numbers are overwhelming, and soon Lucien is overpowered. One of the elves grabs me, his grip like iron as he drags me towards the door. I struggle against him, my heart pounding in my chest. But it's no use. Their strength is too great. Just as I think all hope is lost, Lucien lunges forward, his fangs bared. He sinks them into the elf's neck, and the creature lets out a gurgling scream before his throat is ripped from his body. Lucien turns to me, his eyes blazing with a fierce intensity. "Are you hurt?" he growls, his voice barely above a whisper. Before I can even register the question, I'm knocked to the floor as an elf tackles Lucien away. The elf's voice rings out, "She has it! The girl has the ring!" My gaze drops to the enchanting ring on my finger, and I feel a rush of power surging through me. I clench my fist tightly, knuckles turning white as I press myself into the corner of the room. There's no way I'm letting them take it from me. Suddenly, a gurgling scream pierces the air, and I snap my head up just in time to see the elf choking on his own blood. Lucien is already on his feet, his eyes blazing with a fierce determination. He wipes the blood from his mouth with the back of his hand, his intense gaze locked on mine. He sweeps me into his strong arms and dashes towards the window. Behind us, the elves swarm in like a relentless wave, their eyes filled with malice, ready to kill, to do whatever it takes to claim the ring. "Hold your breath," Lucien commands, his voice barely above a growl, and before I can even process what's happening, he smashes through the window and we're both suspended in the air. For a moment, time seems to stand still as we plummet towards the dark water below. I cling to Lucien, my heart pounding in my chest, and then we hit the water with a deafening crash. The icy water envelops me, and I feel myself being pulled under. I struggle to break free, but my lungs are burning, and I can't hold my breath any longer. Just as I think I'm going to drown, Lucien's muscular arms wrap around me, and he pulls me to the surface. We gasp for air, our chests heaving, and then he looks at me with a fierce intensity, his eyes filled with concern. "Amara, are you all right?" he asks, his voice low and urgent. I nod, my heart racing, and we start to swim towards the distant shore. I can hear the faint sounds of the dark elves searching for us, their voices growing fainter as we put more distance between us. The water is cold and unforgiving, but with Lucien by my side, I know I can make it to safety. Finally, we reach shallow waters, and Lucien pulls me to my feet. We're both soaking wet and shivering, but we don't have time to rest. Despite my insistence that I'm okay, Lucien checks my body for any sign of injury. His hands are gentle as they roam over my arms, my legs, my torso. I can feel his warmth seeping into my cold, wet skin, and I shiver involuntarily. When he's satisfied that I'm unharmed, he lands on my face with an unreadable expression. I silently wonder what's going through his mind. Is he worried about me? Angry at the dark elves? Or is he thinking about something else entirely? "The elves must be following the call of the ring's power just like I did," he says, his voice low and intense. I nod in agreement. It makes sense. The ring is a beacon of magic, and the dark elves are drawn to it like moths to a flame. Lucien takes my hand in his and observes the ring. It glitters in the moonlight, casting a soft glow on his face. For a moment, I'm lost in the beauty of it all. But then Lucien's words bring me back to reality. It must be destroyed.
Chapter 8. Lucien. "Are you out of your damn mind?" Amara's eyes blaze with fury. "We can't destroy the ring. It's everything." I keep my voice level, trying to calm her. "Amara, listen." "No, you listen!" She jabs a finger at my chest. "This ring is my ticket out of the gutter, my chance at a real life. And you want to destroy it?" "I want us to survive," I say, grabbing her wrist gently. "Those dark elves won't stop hunting us. The ring's magic is like a beacon. So we'll keep running." Amara yanks her hand away. "I'd rather fight 100 dark elves than give this up." I sigh, running a hand through my hair. And then what? We spend eternity looking over our shoulders? If that's what it takes, she spits. Amara. I step closer, cupping her face. This isn't the solution either of us wants, but Protheka is in a world that lends itself to happiness. We have to fight for our love, or else this world will take it away. We have to want our love. We have to sacrifice for it. She trembles under my touch. You don't understand. Before this ring, I was nothing. Nobody. You were never nothing, I growl. That ring doesn't define you. Easy for you to say, Amara scoffs. You're not the one who'll go back to being invisible. I pull her against me, feeling her warmth. I see you, Amara. Ring or no ring. She pushes away, shaking her head. It's not just about being seen. It's about having power. For once in my life, I'm not helpless. And you think you'll be helpless without it? I ask. After everything we've been through? Amara's lip quivers. I don't know. But I'm not ready to give it up. Not yet. I nod slowly. All right, but we can't keep this up forever. Sooner or later, we'll have to make a choice. I take Amara's hands in mine, feeling the cold metal of the ring against my skin. Amara, listen. This ring, it served its purpose. It brought us together. Her eyes widen. What do you mean? Protheka is a cruel world. It takes and takes, never giving without demanding something in return. I stroke her cheek. For us to have this love, this chance at happiness, it demands a sacrifice. Amara's voice trembles. The ring? I nod solemnly. It's the price we must pay. She looks down at the ring, conflict etched on her face. After a long moment, she whispers, Okay, let's do it. I begin the incantation, drawing on ancient magic. The air crackles with energy as a shimmering portal appears before us. Ready? I ask, squeezing her hand. Amara takes a deep breath. As I'll ever be. We step through the portal, emerging on a high cliff overlooking a vast, desolate landscape. The wind whips around us, carrying the scent of ash and decay. I lead Amara to the edge. This is it. One toss and it's over. She looks down at the ring, then back at me. Tears well in her eyes. Lucien, I can't. What? I can't do it. Amara clutches the ring to her chest. This beauty, this power, it's all I have in this wretched world. Amara, please! No! She backs away from the cliff. You don't understand. Protheka has taken everything from me. This ring is the only good thing I've ever had. I reach for her, but she flinches away. Amara, we can't keep running. The dark elves will never stop hunting us. Then we'll keep fighting! Her eyes flash with determination. I'd rather face 1,000 dark elves than go back to being invisible. I'm sorry, she says. I can't.
Chapter 9. Amara. You're sorry? Lucien growls, his eyes burning with a fury I've never seen before. That's all you've got to say? He shakes his head, letting out a bitter laugh as he throws his hands up in disbelief. It's pathetic that you'd choose the ring's power over safety, over a life without fear or running from anyone. His words sting, like a sharp blade slicing through my very soul. How dare he twist my own dreams against me? This ring is everything, Lucien. I hiss, my voice quivering with anger. It's all I've got in this world. I was nothing before it, and you can't possibly comprehend that. I try to say more, but Lucien cuts me off, his voice thundering like a storm. You will have me, Amara. My eyes widen in shock as I stare at him, trying to process his words. What? What do you mean? He steps closer, his gaze never leaving mine. You heard me. You will have me. I will protect you, keep you safe. You won't need the ring's power anymore. I scoff, crossing my arms defiantly. And why should I trust you? You've been trying to take the ring from me since the moment we met. Lucien's expression contorts once more. I'm not the foe you make me out to be. I didn't abduct you, nor did I confine you in a cell to be ravaged until your last breath. All I've done is save your life. You only saved me because of the ring, I retort, my voice filled with resentment. He seizes my arm and compels me to meet his gaze. Throughout countless lifetimes, Amara, I've witnessed more than you could ever imagine. I recognize when something transcends the value of power. His tone is guttural and menacing, yet his words resonate deeply within me. I falter, trapped between my longing for the ring's power and my burgeoning emotions for Lucien. However, the dark elves and the ever-present peril they pose linger in my thoughts. I can't keep jeopardizing my safety just for a trinket. I can't trust you, I murmur, attempting to pull away from his grasp. You've been after the ring since the beginning. Lucien's grip tightens, but his eyes soften. Perhaps I was mistaken. Maybe the ring isn't the most crucial thing in this equation. Then what is? I ask, my curiosity piqued despite my apprehension. He leans closer, his breath warm against my cheek. You, Amara, and you will never be safe as long as that sits on your finger. For a moment I'm speechless, caught off guard by his unexpected admission. My heart races as I search his eyes, looking for any hint of deception. But all I find is sincerity, and it's both terrifying and exhilarating. I can feel the weight of the decision pressing down on me. Lucien's words echo in my mind, but I know what I have to do. Without saying anything, I fling the ring off of the cliff. I brace myself, eyes clenched shut, bracing for the loss of my newfound allure and the return to my previous mundane appearance. Yet when I open my eyes, I'm greeted by my reflection, and my heart races as I take in the sight. The ring's magic continues to envelop me. Open your eyes, Amara, Lucien's voice murmurs, a gentle command. I sense his hand cradling my chin, guiding my gaze upwards. But instead of him, I see my own reflection, stunning and radiant. Why am I still like this? I stammer, my voice barely audible. He responds with an arrogant smirk. I find it hard to believe you ever appeared any different. I scowl at him. Don't mock me, Lucien. I know what I looked like before the ring. Lucien's laughter fills the night air, deep and hearty. It seems the ring's magic is indeed permanent. Relief washes over me, and I can't help but ask, does it feel any different for you? Can you sense the change? He flashes a smile, his fangs gleaming in the moonlight. I can feel the sun's warmth on my skin once more, and I can walk freely in both daylight and moonlight. My heart swells with joy. You're cured! I throw my arms around him, pulling him into a tight embrace. I can feel his heart beating against my chest, steady and strong. I pull away and look up at him, my eyes shining with happiness. We can be happy, together. I lean in and press my lips against his, feeling the warmth of his mouth on mine. I can feel the passion building between us, and I know that this is where I belong. But just as I'm about to lose myself in the moment, Lucien pulls away. Amara, he says, his voice heavy with sadness. There's something I need to tell you. I look up at him, my heart sinking. What is it? He takes a deep breath. My immortality. It means that I will outlive you. The words hit me like a punch to the gut. I can feel the tears welling up in my eyes, threatening to spill over. What? No! Can you turn me into a vampire? Like you? Lucien looks away, his expression pained. It's not possible. I can feel the weight of his words settling on my shoulders. I know that he's right, but I can't help but feel a sense of despair wash over me. I thought that we had finally found our happy ending, but it seems that fate has other plans. I take a deep breath and try to compose myself. I understand, I say, my voice barely above a whisper. But for now, let's just enjoy the time we have together. Lucien looks back at me, his eyes filled with sadness, but he nods, and I can see a glimmer of hope in his gaze. We may not have a future together, but at least we have the present, and for now, that's enough.
Chapter 10. Lucien. The dark elves pass us by without a second glance. Their eyes slide over Amara's radiant beauty, unseeing. I can't help but smirk. Looks like we're in the clear, I murmur. Amara nods. Those sorcerers won't find us now. The ring's gone. Let's head back to Veloris, she says, eyes sparkling with excitement. I focus my newfound power, picturing my old manor. A shimmering portal tears open before us. After you, I say with a grin. We step through into my dusty, forgotten home. Amara's eyes widen as she takes it all in. You're mine now, I growl, pulling her close. She melts against me. Forever, Lucien. My life is yours. My pulse quickens as her agile fingers deftly undo the clasp of her dress, allowing the fabric to cascade down her form and gather in a soft heap around her ankles. I suck in a sharp breath, my eyes drinking in the sight of her bare skin, illuminated by the dim glow of the magical orbs, casting a warm, flickering light across the room. Amara's body presses against mine, her curves molding to my hard muscles. A low growl escapes my lips as I feel her heat, her desire. She tilts her head back, exposing the smooth line of her throat, and whispers, I live to please you, Lucien. My hands find their way to her hips, pulling her even closer as I claim her lips in a hungry, possessive kiss. Our lips part, and I trace a line of kisses down her neck, savoring the taste of her skin. My hands explore her body, feeling the soft curves and the hard peaks. And I know you want to hear just what I put my hands on next, but YouTube can't handle it. Instead, find the ad-free, unabridged Vampire's Vow audiobook on worldsofprotheka.com. With code YouTube30, you can get any digital product, such as ebooks and audiobooks, at a 30% discount. Dive into the Worlds of Protheka without missing a single detail at worldsofprotheka.com. And now we return to the story. As passion overtakes us, a startling realization hits me. The ring's power lingers, granting me the ability to create more Vraken. Amara, I pant. The ring, I can turn you, make you like me. Her eyes ignite with a hunger that mirrors my own, a burning desire that threatens to consume us both. Amara launches herself at me with a renewed fervor, her body writhing against mine in a dance as old as time itself. The feel of her soft curves pressed against my hard muscles only serves to fan the flames of our passion, pushing me to the brink of control. Bite me, she urges, her voice barely a whisper. Claim me as your own, forever. The raw desperation in her eyes is a sight to behold, and I can't help but feel a primal pull towards her. The thought of turning her, of molding her into a creature like myself, sends a shiver of anticipation down my spine. My fangs extend, a natural response to the overwhelming desire coursing through me. I lean in, my lips brushing against the tender flesh of her neck. The scent of her blood is intoxicating, and I know that once I taste it, there will be no turning back. Are you sure? I murmur, giving her one last chance to change her mind. But the fire in her gaze leaves no room for doubt. She wants this as much as I do. With a growl of pure lust, I sink my fangs deep into her vein. The sweet, coppery taste of her blood fills my mouth, and I feel a surge of power unlike anything I've ever experienced. As her life force mingles with my own, I can sense the transformation beginning to take place. Her body trembles in my arms, and I hold her tight, whispering soothing words in her ear. When I finally pull away, I can see the change in her eyes. They're brighter, more vibrant, and filled with a newfound strength. She's no longer just a human woman. She's my equal, my partner in this eternal dance of darkness. "Welcome to the shadows," I say, my voice filled with pride and possession. "Together, we'll rule these nights." And as we stand there bathed in the soft glow of the moonlight, I know that nothing will ever be the same again. Amara's eyes fly open, glowing with newfound power. A wicked smile spreads across her face. "Oh, Lucien," she breathes. "It's incredible."
There isn't much left of the world after the orcs came.
Savage. Brutal. Merciless.
If you're a woman, you're property. Even to other humans.
What happens when an orc stakes his claim on a human woman? Who would dare to stop him?
Me.
Chapter 11. The Ring. Ah, freedom at last. The wind whistles through my gemstone as I tumble down the cliff face. Such exhilaration after being stuck on that mortal's finger for so long. Don't get me wrong, Amara was a delightful host. Her transformation was truly spectacular, from drab to fab in an instant. And that vampire, Lucien? He's certainly living things up, but a ring like me can't be tied down. I've got places to be, powers to bestow. As I roll to a stop in some scraggly bushes, I ponder my next move. How to catch another unsuspecting finger. A rumbling in the distance. Wheels, perfect timing. "Hurry up, you filthy humans!" A sharp crack of a whip. Dark elves, even better. Their greed knows no bounds, makes them easy marks. Footsteps approach, light, hesitant. A slave, no doubt. "What's this?" A feminine voice tinged with wonder. Delicate fingers pluck me from the leaves. I catch a glimpse of wide eyes, bruised skin. "So pretty," she whispers. Without hesitation, she slips me into the folds of her tattered dress. Smart girl. As we lurch back into motion, I settle against her warm skin. A new journey begins. Where will we end up? What chaos can I cause this time? One thing's certain, it won't be boring.
In a world of elves, demons, and liches.
What would you choose?
Power?
Or passion?
Would you stab the monster in the back?
Or take him to bed?
The immersive fantasy audiobook bundle has it all.
Go to worldsofprotheka.com to get access.
Use code YouTube30 to get an additional 30% off.
Protheka's magic is eternal. Audio bundles will make it immersive.